You ever think being a teenage superhero would be fun? You get powers, respect, and maybe even a cool theme song. Well, unless you're Danny Phantom, the one kid who made supernatural puberty look like a full-blown emotional breakdown. Danny's life is basically a horror movie disguised as a Nickelodeon cartoon. Imagine waking up every morning knowing you might have to punch a ghost before breakfast. And your parents, yeah, they're ghost hunters. Their dream job is to destroy the very thing you've become. Therapy? Not an option. You can't exactly tell your school counselor you're half dead. He's 15, balancing algebra, existential dread, and the constant risk of possession. That's not heroism. That's unpaid emotional labor with glowing eyes. People say high school is hell. Danny literally lives in the crossover between hell and homeroom. And somehow, he's still expected to pass his exams. But sure, let's all keep pretending being half ghost sounds cool, because nothing says childhood dream like permanent sleep deprivation and the occasional trip to the afterlife. So how did Danny end up like this? Simple. He walked into a ghost portal that his own parents built and accidentally turned it on while standing inside it, because apparently, parental supervision was optional in the early 2000s. His folks, Jack and Maddie Fenton, are self-proclaimed ghost scientists, which is a generous way of saying two adults who turned their basement into a nuclear exorcism lab. They believe every flickering light bulb is a sign of spiritual warfare, and they wonder why their son has trust issues. One minor electrical accident later, Danny gains ghost powers, flying, invisibility, energy blasts. All the standard undead upgrade pack, but every time he uses them, he risks being spotted, hunted, or exorcised by his parents. It's the perfect coming-of-age story. If coming of age means constantly hiding from your own DNA, Danny Phantom isn't just fighting ghosts. He's fighting genetics, bad parenting, and the cosmic joke that Nickelodeon called character development. At first glance, Danny Phantom looks like a dream, superpowers, adventure, a catchy theme song that still slaps 20 years later. But behind the glowing eyes is a darker truth. Power isn't liberation. It's emotional imprisonment. Every time Danny goes ghost, he literally splits his soul in half. That's not heroism. That's chronic people-pleasing with ectoplasmic side effects. And what does he get for it? No one thanks him. His classmates still think he's weird. His crush barely notices him. His ghost alter ego is hunted by the entire town. He's trapped, too human for ghosts, too ghostly for humans, and permanently exhausted. So, yeah, being Danny Phantom sounds cool, until you realize it's basically being Spider-Man, but with more trauma and less financial stability. Here's the thing about Danny's powers. They're not empowering. They're exhausting. Every time he uses them, his body glitches between life and death, like bad Wi-Fi between heaven and hell. He can fly, but only because gravity gave up on him. He can turn invisible, but mostly to avoid his parents' ecto-guns. Imagine knowing your mom has accidentally aimed a bazooka at you more than once. That's not a childhood. That's a trauma montage. And the ghost attacks? Never ending. Every 5 minutes, another glowing nightmare shows up to ruin his day. Meanwhile, Danny's just trying to survive. Algebra. He's fighting literal monsters. While his teacher yells about missing homework, he doesn't need powers. He needs paid time, off and a therapist. And the worst part? His powers glitch constantly. He phases through walls by accident. Turns invisible mid-sentence. Nothing kills your confidence faster than ghosting your own crush. With great power comes great responsibility. Sure, but in Danny's case, it's great power, no sleep, and a permanent anxiety disorder. His powers don't make him stronger. They're slowly consuming him. He's not fighting ghosts anymore. He's fighting his own decay. High school is already a nightmare. Now imagine going through it half dead. Danny Phantom doesn't just face bullies. He faces poltergeists, self-doubt, and group projects with people who hate him. By day, he's the quiet, awkward kid who always disappears mid-class. By night, he's Amity Park's only defense against cosmic evil. That's not a double life. That's unpaid overtime. And the adults? Completely useless. His parents are obsessed with ghost gadgets. His teachers think he's lazy, and every authority figure is either clueless, or clinically insane. It's like living in a group project where you're the only one doing the work, except the work is saving humanity. He tries so hard to be normal, to go to dances, to laugh, to belong, but he never can. Because how do you fit in when you're not fully alive? Every time he smiles, there's that flicker of panic, the quiet fear that he'll vanish if someone looks too close. He's the invisible kid, and it's not a metaphor. It's his whole identity. There's one question Danny can't escape. What happens when you're half dead forever? He's not aging. He's not healing. He's just existing. His body doesn't need sleep, but it still feels tired. His heart beats, but sometimes forgets. He's a ghost with a pulse, an organism in permanent error. And the cruelest part? No one understands. His parents want to dissect him. His friends try to cheer him up. His enemies literally are his mental health issues with fangs. Every fight is just him battling another version of his own pain. There's no end. Ghosts don't retire. Spirits don't rest. And neither does Danny. He's the burnout kid who never clocks out, fighting both his demons and everyone else's. He saves the world, but he'll never save himself, because Danny Phantom isn't a hero story. It's a cautionary tale about what happens when responsibility becomes a curse. Maybe Danny Phantom isn't really about ghosts. Maybe it's about identity, and how growing up feels like slowly becoming transparent. He's stuck between two selves, the kid he was, and the ghost he's become, terrified that neither one is real. Every teenager feels invisible sometimes. Danny just literally is. He phases through walls, through people, through the life he was supposed to live. Being a teenager often feels like haunting your own existence, watching everyone else move on, while you hover unseen, hoping someone will notice before you fade. Danny's ghost powers are just an exaggerated version of that feeling. The exhaustion, the loneliness, the constant pretending that everything's fine. But there's no graduation for Danny Phantom. No finish line. No peace. He's saving everyone but himself, trapped between two worlds, forever half alive and fully haunted. In the end, Danny Phantom isn't about being heroic. It's about surviving chaos with a half smile and full anxiety. He doesn't fight because he wants to. He fights because he has to. Every night he punches ghosts into oblivion, and every morning he goes back to class pretending none of it happened. His victories don't bring peace. They just reset the nightmare. The ghosts aren't the real monsters. It's the silence afterward. The loneliness of being the only one who remembers the fight. Danny saves the world from restless spirits. But he'll never quiet his own, because he's not the hero of his story. He's the collateral damage, and maybe that's why we love him. He's every overworked, anxious young adult holding it together with caffeine and denial. He's burnout with superpowers. Imposter syndrome wrapped in ectoplasm. A kid who saves everyone and still feels like a mistake. So yeah, being Danny Phantom sucks. Because sometimes being special doesn't make you heroic. It just makes you haunted. And if that's not the perfect summary of adulthood, I don't know what is.